Start.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. I am Mohammed Saad Hassan from the Petroleum Engineering Department, and in this semester, as part of my 214 coursework, I wrote a paper entitled Shale Gas Technology, a Blessing or a Curse. Well, while writing that paper, I think that I discovered the solution to the problem of global air pollution. And as you can see over here on this slide, I'm going to be talking about this solution today in my presentation. You see, right now we produce about 30 billion tons of carbon dioxide each year by burning oil in vehicles. 30 billion tons of carbon dioxide. That is more than the weight of all humans and all animals combined that are actually living on this planet right now. I think that this amount can be reduced to about 20 billion tons each year. If instead of burning oil in vehicles, we burn natural gas in vehicles. 20 billion tons might sound, the reduction might sound a little bit less, but in the long run, we'll be reducing about 1,000 billion tons of carbon dioxide over a period of 100 years to be exact, and that is a lot. The question is, how do we produce enough natural gas to run all of the vehicles all across the planet on gas? The answer is very simple. We use shale natural gas. Before going any further, let me explain what is the difference between shale gas and conventional natural gas. In order to extract conventional gas, natural gas, you just locate a reservoir, dig deeper and deeper and deeper till you reach the reservoir, and then extract the gas. As simple as that. Shale natural gas, however, is natural gas that is trapped in shale rocks. And in order to take the gas out, you need to crack the rock itself. Now, this process used to be very expensive until recent advancements were made in the field. And after the advancements were made, people researched about the shale gas resources present in various countries, and they found out that unlike oil that is concentrated mainly in the Middle East, shale gas resources are scattered all across the planet. So I propose to use these shale gas resources that we have all across the planet to construct a global infrastructure of gas pipelines that will enable us to feed each and every country with enough natural gas to run all of the vehicles all across the planet on natural gas. Now, it is this pipeline infrastructure that I'm going to be talking about for the rest of this presentation. As you can see over here on the slide, we have the countries in Asia that have the highest shale gas resources. At the top of the list, we have China with 1275 trillion cubic feet, followed by Saudi Arabia at 600 trillion, then comes India at 63 trillion, and then Pakistan at 51 trillion cubic feet. We'll begin by talking about shale gas infrastructure in China. As we said, 1,275 trillion cubic feet, that is how much shale gas China has, and that is basically a lot for China to satisfy its own personal needs. In addition to this, I think that Chinese could also export gas to countries like North and South Korea by building a gas pipeline, which is very easy. As you can see, China is connected by land mass to both of these countries. Building an onshore pipeline is very easy and very cheap, and it can be very good for the region in the long term. In addition, however, I think that Chinese gas could also go to countries like Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, all of these countries. But you can see that these countries are not connected by land to China. There is sea between Japan, Philippines, and all of these countries and China. So, how do we transport gas from China to these countries? Do we use tankers? No, that is too expensive. We go ahead, take some bold decisions, and construct a gas pipeline that goes under the sea to Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan. I did not mention it, but Taiwan as well can be supplied. It is closer to China, sorry, than Japan, and to the Philippines. Having talked about China, will move to India, which has 63 trillion cubic feet of gas. So, India, I think, can export natural gas to all of its South Asian neighbors by constructing gas pipelines. South Asian neighbors means countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, and Bhutan up there. As you can see, these countries are connected by landmass indirectly to India. Or there are very small water bodies. Let's say between India and Bangladesh, there is a very small water body over here, Bay of Bengal. So constructing gas pipelines to these countries, namely Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh, is very easy for India and can be, again, very productive for the region. In addition, I think that Indian gas could also go to countries as far away as Burma or Myanmar and Thailand. Now these countries, as you can see, are far away from India, but they are connected indirectly by landmass to India, as you can see. From up there and down through Nepal, Bangladesh, and then you come into Myanmar, and from Myanmar you go to Thailand. We have landmass over there. So, due to this reason, construction of pipelines from India to Thailand, for instance, is much more cheaper than constructing a gas pipeline from China to Japan, for instance, where we have sea. Much more cheaper and much more productive in the long run, and I think this is something that can be very good for the region. Having talked about India, now let's move to Pakistan. Before talking about shale gas in the country, I'd like to talk about conventional natural gas in Pakistan. Pakistan is a country that is very rich in natural gas, conventional natural gas, but unfortunately, due to extreme mismanagement, people back home do not have enough gas to cook food or to heat their homes in the winter. So these newly discovered shale gas resources, worth 51 trillion cubic feet in Pakistan, could help us not only to fulfill our own needs back home, but also to export natural gas and hopefully turn into a developed country from a developing country, hopefully, in the next 15 years. Not hopefully, I can guarantee that if we build a pipeline infrastructure that I'm about to suggest, Pakistan could become a developed nation in the next 15 years. You can see over here, Afghanistan. Very close to Pakistan, connected by landmass. Constructing gas pipeline from Pakistan to Afghanistan, piece of cake. And, of course, Pakistan can sell a lot of gas to Afghanistan, good for both countries. In addition to this, the pipeline infrastructure that will emerge from Pakistan and go into Afghanistan could be expanded into the former Soviet Union states of Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, all the way up to Kazakhstan. These countries, these USSR countries, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and so on, take their gas from Russia, all of their natural gas from Russia. But if we are to put all of the vehicles in these countries on natural gas, they'll need a lot more gas. And Russian gas might not be enough for them in that case. And that is when Pakistan fits into the equation. Before talking about Saudi Arabia, I'd like to talk a little bit about Europe. Europe has a lot of shale gas. But the problem is that in Europe, you cannot extract these shale gas resources without polluting the groundwater supplies. That can be done in only one country, and that is Poland, up there, a tiny country. The country has 22 trillion cubic feet of shale gas, which is not enough to feed the whole continent with gas. How do we solve this problem? Very simple. We build a pipeline from Saudi Arabia, which has 600 trillion cubic feet of shale gas. And from Saudi Arabia, we go to Iraq, Syria, Turkey, and then into Europe. In other words, the pipeline goes from Saudi Arabia to Iraq, then to Syria, then to Turkey, and then into Europe. And I think this gas should be more than enough for Europe. In case it is not enough, we could build an additional gas pipeline from Qatar to Europe along the same route. This pipeline, if it has to be built, the conflict in Syria has to be resolved. Now, how can that be resolved? We could talk about that at some other time, but right now it's not the right time to talk about it. This conflict, trust me, can be solved very easily and can be very good for the region. If it gets solved, Saudi Arabia can make a lot of money, and other Middle Eastern states, if shale gas gets discovered over there, could also make a lot of money from this venture. Due to the shortage of time that we have over here today, I cannot talk about the whole world, of course. I believe that I've touched across most of the planet. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that if all of the pipelines are built in the suggested manner, they might cost. They might not cost. They will cost a lot in the beginning. But once the pipelines go operational, the cost will get repaid very quickly, like this. And besides this, in the long run, we'll be doing a great favor, not only to ourselves, but also to our many future generations to come by giving them a much cleaner world to live in. This is all I had to say. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you very much. That is the end.